What's up, music lovers, underground enthusiasts, and people who walk their dogs in their bathrobes? It's me, mssnger. And today we're going to be going over the weekly songs video. Starting out strong, like Party Like Sutetchi by dani kiyoko. Dani Kiyoko tracks are typically fast and hard trap supernovas, releasing a bright flare of energy that dissipates as quickly as it launches. This indulgent blown out track is a relative monster at just barely under 5 minutes. But in all other ways, it's what you would expect. Blown out and earth-shattering 808s, quirky vocals drawn in a shiny mix, and semi-obscure melodies blaring in the background. Although plug-in rage tracks rely on quick bursts of repetition over lengthy arrangements, I do love the structure and energy of this song. It's a structure that relies on beat switches to maintain its momentum, but each one flows naturally into the next. There's a decent argument to be made here that the song kind of overstays its welcome with repetition, but I think it pulls itself out of the groove into a new territory before it becomes too stale. It's a fun electric track that indulges in eccentric vocal styles and powerful beats that buzz and whir with relentless intensity that feels cathartic by the end of it. I'm just letting you guys know now that obviously, haha, funny, fourth wall break, okay? I'm Melmige, not Melmige right now. This is Rose. I don't know how he talks. I don't know how he does this. This sucks for me. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to do this because I thought it would be funny, and now it's getting dark, and I have to do it quickly, and I keep stuttering. Okay. Shifting gears into a folkier territory is the new luvflorent track, I'll Love You Forever, which provides a balanced blend of hazy textures and poignant songwriting. There's a bit more conflict than the title would suggest in the song, which at its core is sweet, but splashes of hopelessness and uncertainty weave its way through the romantic layers of this song. And in that way, I do really like the writing here, which is delivered with a dreary vocal tone that's been processed and widened into a foggy and washy mix. The vocals never really escape the hazy effect, which in a way helps maintain the lethargic flow and energy of the vocals themselves. The tone remains somber and tired, which sounds nice over the more raw, folky sound of the instrumental, which is full of textured string plucks, white noise in the room space, and watery piano chords that bring a bit of softness to the mix. I especially love when the harsh plucks of the guitar actually peak the mic a bit. It humanizes the track. It's mixed well with a pretty atmosphere. I just wish it didn't have this abrupt fade out that kills what would be an otherwise pensive and thoughtful departure from the end of the song. Easily my biggest problem with an otherwise solid track. And we all know, here on the Melmige channel, me, Melmige, I hate a fucking fade out. kennedyxoxo has dropped deer in headlights, and there was a brief period of time where I'd seen this song performed live more times than I'd listened to an official release. Because I saw him in Allentown, and then I also just saw him in Atlanta, not to brag, but my pretty girlfriend took me there for my birthday to Atlanta, not Allentown. This is a killer track that acts as a great showcase for what Kennedy brings to the table as an artist, which is primarily a compelling blend of emo and pop that sets up emotion and knocks it down to an explosive effect. One thing about Kennedy, if you guys have ever seen Kennedy live, he's an amazing performer. He takes the songs to a whole different level. Not to brag on our man over here, but it initially took me a minute to pair Kennedy's characteristic vocal mix with the emotion I was getting out of the lyrics on this track. But once it all syncs up, it's hard not to recognize how much Kennedy accomplishes in such a short amount of time. The vocals on this are buzzy and bright, crooning lyrics over mathy guitar riffs, which builds into a massive wall of sound juggling blown out 808s and erratic synth melodies flying through the mix. Kennedy's flow in this section is intense and almost frantic, rattling off lines in tandem with the intensity of the beat. Definitely one of Kennedy's most well-rounded and catchy tracks yet. Even if the lyrics are brief and more repetitive in nature, the few bars on this track are effective in writing and delivery. Shizukesa! Hello, we're back with Who Are You by Shizukesa. Shizukesa is one of those artists that understands at a very confident level what makes their work good. And even when writing about self-doubt and perceived flaws, there's still a stunning level of expertise on every word delivered. The glistening and moody melodies of this beat is the perfect home for Shizu's bars, which are effortlessly complex, setting up rhyme schemes that sneak up on you with the setup and land with incredible weight on impact, each in succession building up a sprawling landscape of emotion and imagery. There's such a seamless transition between words and ideas that the energy level never feels broken up, creating a flowing stream of consciousness for Shizu to rattle off grievances and memories with no room to breathe. But even with that intense description, there's a casual presentation to everything. Shizu's tone is slightly irritated but otherwise bored, and the calculated writing gives them the room to sound loose and relaxed. Pair all of this with one-off quirks and beat cuts, and you've got one of Shizu's most engaging songs yet. Last but not least, we have I Met Her at Warped Tour by mssnger. So for a bit of context, mssnger dropped a song 4 years ago called I Hate to See You Like This, an absolute powerhouse of a track that capitalized off the hyper-pop movement by injecting unique flares of pop-punk and alt-rock into their sound. I swore at the time they were the next big thing, and then a year later, 3 years ago, they went radio silent. It was super cool to see them upload Messenger 2, an album full of unused and unfinished tracks from this era, and even if it's not necessarily newly produced work, I'm excited to have more Messenger music to dig through. I Met Her at Warped Tour is pretty on the nose in its inspiration, very intentionally so if the title wasn't enough to give it away. But it doesn't ever really feel like a parody, it's more of an homage with Messenger's personal flares. The chugging power chords and vocal melodies that kick the song off sound great, nostalgia-soaked but also incredibly well engineered and performed. The anthemic chorus is a massive wall of pop-punk saturation that quickly moves into a thrashy and erratic skate punk verse. It's intense and packed with punchy mixing and harsh guitar tones. This is one of the many interesting songs from this album, which has everything from hyperpop to punk to dubstep. I definitely recommend checking this out and the rest of what Messenger has released on this album. Alright, and that pretty much sums it up. Tune in next week when I shave this cat bald. Thanks.